back. I am unapologetically Eric. You can follow me on X at Eric Not Sorry or on Facebook at Unapologetically Eric. As the title states, I am going to be talking about depression and suicide. Yeah, happy times. I've been thinking about doing this episode for a while and even mentioned it a couple of times, but I I've put it off because I'm going to be going into parts of my life that I was hoping to just keep locked away forever. But thanks to someone that I now consider a friend, Ellie Pup, shout out, through conversations with him, he just passively said, you don't know if maybe somebody could find it relatable. So I was like, yeah, you're right. So I got some notes down, and I'm sure I'm going to be bouncing all over the place. So bear with me. But yeah, nice, happy episode. But yeah, depression and suicide. Before I get started, I know I've had conversations with people that my friends, and in the past, and they have never dealt with depression. And if you have never dealt with depression, I envy you. I greatly envy you because depression fucking sucks. This episode is for parents. This is for kids. If you are 14, 15, 12, or you have kids that age, or grandkids, or nieces or nephews, have them listen. And yes, there's going to be foul language because that's just how I roll. But maybe they can hear this and realize they're not alone. That somebody else has been through the same shit or similar and still alive and bitching. So for those that have not experienced depression, I'm sure you have experienced sadness. Really being bummed out. A pet dies, or a loved one or a friend passes away. And, you mourn. You're sad. You're kind of, air quotes, depressed. But as, literally a few days go by, you start thinking about them and smiling about the good times. And yeah, you cry and you get bummed out, but essentially you do move forward. It's not your prime focus all day. You have your moments, but you move on. Depression is like that times 100, and it never goes away. When you are depressed, I know there's people I've read online and on X and even on Facebook, people are like, my friends will say, you need to smile more, or just focus on something good, or read a book, go for a walk, exercise. Which, okay, yeah, exercise, I know scientifically has proven does help. But it's because they don't get it. And some people that are depressed will comment that, my friend said this, and, they just don't get it. Don't be frustrated. You're right. They don't get it because they've never been down that road. Again, maybe they have been sad and bummed out at times, but they have never really experienced depression. Depression does not leave you alone. When you are depressed, you ultimately become numb because you don't want to feel anything anymore. You get up, you go through the motions, you brush your teeth, you take a shit, you shower, and then you go to school or you go to work and you put in the time. You just put in your time. You do the best, and then that's it. You then go home. Maybe you're part of a bowling league or pool or whatever. You have quote unquote hobbies, but you got no passion for them. You just, I don't want to go bowling tonight, but I have to because the team depends on me. I guess I have to go. There's no, I can't wait to see Tammy tonight. We're gonna have fucking fun. It's just, I don't want to go. I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit at home or sit in my room and do nothing. Literally nothing. Whether it's you got the TV on and yeah, there's a TV show on and sure you may chuckle at a couple of jokes, but overall you're just numb. Nothing really makes you happy. Even the things that used to make you happy, they just don't. You love your, let's say you snuggle with your cat or you enjoy playing fetch with your dog. You're just throwing the ball for your dog and they get it and they bring it back and you're just throwing it again. There's no emotion behind it. It's just the world feels like you feel like the world is on your shoulders and you have this tremendous weight on you. And nothing anybody says makes it go away. Sure, I'm not talking therapists because sometimes therapists and counselors, they do help. They find that key that unlocks that box that brings the light in you back out. But for the most part, friends or family, you just go through the motions. They don't know what to say. That's why they say things like, you should smile more. Or they'll even ask you, because they know you. They know your personality. You know, are you okay? Is everything all right? Because they know something's wrong. But you just don't want to fucking talk about it. It's just, yeah, everything's fine. I'm fine. Famous 4-letter word. Fine. But you're not fine. And you know it. You just don't want to talk about it. Because somebody with depression just feels like if I tell someone, one, they're not going to understand me. Two, they're going to tell me stuff that's not going to help. And three, the most important one, I don't want to burden them with how I'm feeling. And there's just a vicious cycle inside your head when you have depression. I'm bummed out. I'm sad. Life sucks. Nothing makes me happy. I don't laugh. I don't smile. I need help. I want help, but I don't want to burden anybody to help me. So I guess I'm just going to keep being unhappy and not smiling and not laughing. And it's just a cycle. It just keeps going around and around. Now, when I'm talking about, with this depression that I'm talking about, I'm not talking like something that's, you know, like bipolar. I'm not talking a clinical textbook, you know, off the charts mental illness. I'm just talking depression. Just being down all the time. And it's not like days or weeks. I'm talking months. And for me, it was years. Years of not being happy at all over anything. I would go through the motions, but I just nothing made me fucking happy at all. So if you are a parent and you have never experienced depression and you notice your kid that something has changed and you keep asking them, Johnny, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, Mom. Dad, leave me alone. I'm fine. They're not fine. But if you have not experienced depression, yeah, you don't know how to deal with it. And I can't help you. I can't tell you, well, go do this. There's no smoking gun on how to fix this. Before I continue, I think the only suggestion I could tell you is just make sure that your kid knows you're there to listen. And if they do come to you to talk to you, shut the fuck up and listen. Don't talk. Don't give suggestions. Just listen. Because trust me, as soon as you start, well, maybe if they shut off. Because I know I did it. And I'm not alone because I have talked to friends that have gone down this same path. They, like me, they stood at the edge of the abyss and looked into the darkness, and that shit looked back. And as soon as they would open up to someone and they would be like, well, let me give you a hug. No, don't. They, they shut off. You're not listening to me. And then they get angry because you're not listening. I know you want to help, and that's awesome. But trust me, when they finally open up to you, just listen. When there is a long pause, you can then maybe say, is there anything more? Would you like to keep talking? Just don't push. Don't push. And I know it's your baby and you want to help and you want to hug them and make them happy and make them feel good and better. It's not something that is done in 5 minutes or a 2-hour conversation. It doesn't work that way. And there is no magic pill that makes it go away, because there are underlying conditions. There are reasons. And you may not know what they are. You may never know what they are. And your kid may not even understand why those reasons make them feel the way they do. They just do. If you ever listen to the very first episode of my podcast with my good friend Ryan, Two Guys, One Campfire, we discussed bullying and discuss some stats. It was 2 years ago we did that episode. Crazy. But we discussed statistics with children and suicide and self-harm and how outrageous they are. And those stats are 2 years old now. I'm sure they're worse because the world has gone absolute batshit. And one of the things we discussed was like social media and cell phones. Because although I'm going to get into it, but when I was a kid, and my friend Ryan, we're the same age. When we were kids, we were bullied. But when we got home, we got off the bus, we could take a breath. We were home. It was sanctuary. In the summers, you didn't have to really deal with any bullies either. But nowadays, there is no escape. Between smartphones, there's text messages, and of course, memes, and the bullying never stops. And there's social media, and the bullying there never stops. So kids nowadays don't have any escape. Plus, everything is chaos. Politics used to be a thing mommy and daddy would talk about at the dinner table. And then that was pretty much it. You didn't see it. You didn't deal with it. Now with social media, politics is everywhere. This person's terrible. That person's terrible. Oh my God, we're all going to die. Plus, look at all the stuff, international stuff. Let's say wars. Okay, it was on the nightly news, and then that was it. You watch sitcoms, and, if your kids sat there at dinner and you had the news channel on, they would experience, tidbits of a war over in Lebanon or whatever the fuck. And, okay, it was for 5 minutes, and then that was it. And that was it. But now, every post on social media or every other post, it's a war here, war there. Look at this video of this. Look at that. It's a lot. Kids nowadays are so fucking overwhelmed with this shit. Gee, why are they losing their minds? I can't imagine why. Really. Obviously sarcasm, but seriously. Me personally, I don't have kids, but if I did, they wouldn't have a fucking smartphone until they were, 18. I'd get them a flip phone to be in touch with me, but smartphones, hell no. You don't need that shit. Be a kid. Be a kid. But sometimes, like when I grew up, there was no smartphones, there was no internet, and I still had to deal with what I dealt with. But kids nowadays, they deal with a lot. Like a lot. And life isn't get any easier. Does not get any easier. I mean, I wouldn't want to be a kid today. I do not envy them. But for me personally, my story. I'm an only child. Thankful for that. They had me and went, oh my fucking God, never again. But for me personally, yes, I'm an only child. And, I did have overall a good childhood. I had two loving parents. Thankfully, I still do. Um, my parents were not wealthy. We were middle class. Um, nothing fancy. They did what they had to do to make ends meet, and they did what they could to give me the things I wanted. Like, I remember when the Nintendo came out, and they got me the Nintendo for Christmas, and basically that was it. It was like, we can't afford anything else, so here you go. They shot their load on one gift for me, and I couldn't have been fucking happier. But overall, I was a happy kid. And then things changed. I got bullied a lot, mainly for my name, not my first, but my last. I haven't mentioned that here, but if you're a friend of mine, you know what it is. And you're going to learn some things about me today. But I was picked on for my name. I was then bullied because of the clothes I wore. I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of guy. I still am. Always have been. Oh, but my jeans aren't $50 or $80. I'm not wearing the $100 shoes. So I wasn't wearing the correct brands. So I was picked on for the brands that I wore, the types of shoes that I wore, the types of shirts, you name it, I was bullied for it. And then I started getting picked on for the things I liked, the things I enjoyed. I always liked the military. Still like the military. I respect everybody that joins. And I was just ridiculed every day at school for things I liked. I can't help what I like. It's like if somebody says, I like the color yellow, and then somebody just berating them because they like the color yellow. It's like, why do you like the color yellow? I don't know. I fucking look at it, and I like the color. Me personally, I'm not a fan, but I like the color purple. Yep, okay, well, I was picked on for liking purple. Apparently I'm gay. But hey, whatever. I don't know why I like the color purple. I just do. My eyeballs see it. The information goes to my brain, and my brain goes, thumbs up. But hobbies I was into, I was ridiculed for. Things that made me happy. They started to no longer make me happy because when I would do them, I would think of what I was being said, things being said to me throughout the day. Every day at school. Every day. Now, in my generation, Gen X, there was a phrase of boys will be boys, kids will be kids. And it's true, but kids suck. Kids are assholes. They really are. Because they don't hold back. They see something and insult. There's no filter. They don't think about that person's feelings. Hell, they're thinking more of, I said something mean to that person, someone laughed. I liked somebody laughing. It made me feel good, so I'm going to keep doing it. Kids are assholes. It is what it is, unfortunately. But seriously, what are you going to do? I know that nowadays there's probably things that some students can go to teachers and teachers can do things. But again, well, now you're just a tattletale. You're a little bitch. You're a pussy. You're going to run home to your mommy. What are you going to do? And that was no different than when I was a kid. I remember going home and crying to my parents about being bullied and insulted. And I distinctly remember that my mom called the school. That worked out well. Yeah, no. That did not work out well at all. It just made it worse. Oh, you went home and cried to your mommy, you little bitch. Yeah, every day. Monday through Friday. Every day. Now, it wasn't every student, of course. I had friends, and the vast majority of the student body was neutral. It was like, yep, I was there, okay. Just like you, if you are 15 or 14 and you're listening to this, you experience the same thing if you're being bullied. The vast majority of the kids you go to school with, they don't know you exist or you don't know they exist. You just see each other in the halls, see each other in class, and it's neutral. But there's those few. There are those few that just make your fucking life suck. It makes it hell. And you don't want to get up and go to school every day. And I remember that. I felt sick every day. Legitimately, I didn't want to go to school because I didn't feel good. Because of the stress, made my stomach upset. Gee, I can't imagine why. And because of this bullying, it made joy suck from my life. Again, the hobbies that made me happy, I had the little voice in the back of my head of those little shits at school talking crap to me. Then we fast forward, and my parents get divorced. Now, my parents were not the stereotypical divorce because mom and dad were always screaming at one another and fighting, ashtrays being thrown. No, none of that. None of that. It was just something that happened. Literally, it floored everybody when they split because there was no constant screaming and fighting and all that. No. So, okay. It made me upset. It made me sad, sure, because, dad's not going to be in the house anymore and life's going to change. This is new. Some people have said that it affected me. Maybe it did. I honestly don't know. But, yeah, the dynamic at home changed, which was weird. And at 14, I ultimately had to grow up. I had to be the man of the house. I was the one. I was already starting to be taught how to be a man by my father. Like, my dad would very rarely mow the lawn anymore because he's got a kid. Get the fuck outside. I'm not going to go out there and deal with that shit. You do it. I worked 60 hours this week. You can go mow the fucking lawn. Okay, no problem, Dad. I get it. It's all good. And I was already being taught how to do my own laundry, set the table, learning how to cook. I was already starting to be taught that, but now I had to because my mom wasn't going to go out and mow the lawn. I had to do it. I had to take on the responsibility of vacuuming our pool. Now, it wasn't fancy, no in-ground pool, it was an above-ground oval. It was a small pool, but I was happy to have it on those summer days. But I had to go, I had to mop it. I had to go vacuum the pool. So 2 hours of my free time where I could be spending it with a friend or doing something fun, no, I had to do this. And then I had to mow the lawn. I had to check the chemicals in the pool. I had to make sure the dishes were cleaned and put away, feed the pets, do my laundry. And I was doing all the laundry. I wasn't alone on that, It was a team effort, my mom and I. But all the stuff that my father used to do, I had to help pick up the slack. And I'm fortunate my mom did not sit there and bash my dad. She did not. I think she may have said something once, and I kind of bit her head off, and that was the end of that. But I knew she was hurting, and it was not fun. And finances became a big problem because less money coming in. We had to move. That pissed me off. Now, by this time I was in high school and I was going to a trade school, so I wasn't seeing my typical ordinary friends from town every day. So it was like, okay, it is what it is. But we had to move. That was my home. I had to leave. That sucked. Everything I knew completely changed and vanished within a day. When we moved, it sucked. But it is what it is. And then the fighting started. My mother and I had knockdown, drag-out fights. Like screaming until we were hoarse. Yeah, fun times. Still being bullied at school. Still getting picked on. Hobbies I enjoyed, really just wasn't enjoying anymore. And then the constant fighting, day in and day out. Bullied at school, fights at home. They were fun times. Real fucking fun times. And then I always had I didn't have real guns. I had air guns, um, like the BB gun rifle, and I had a couple of CO2 pistols, and they were fun. I did enjoy shooting, and I still enjoy it to this day. But there came a night. There came a night where I recently broke up with my girlfriend. My grades were slipping. Constant fighting, the bullying, everything kind of culminated. And I was going to just fucking end it. I'm tired. I'm tired every day. I was tired of getting up. I was tired of being awake. I didn't want to fight anymore. I didn't want to fight my mom. I didn't want to fight dealing with kids at school. I didn't want to fight myself anymore. Because when you get depressed, there is a voice that starts in your head. And it's a demon that never goes away. When you start feeling better about yourself and life starts getting better and you actually start to become happy, the voice gets quieter, but it's always there. It never, at least for me, it never goes away. So there was one night I said, fuck it, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. So I took a fresh CO2 cartridge, put it in my little pistol there, and yeah, I put it up to the temple on my head. And then my phone rang. A real phone, not a cell phone. Didn't have those yet. They weren't even invented. They did have car phones, but my phone rang. And I'm like, fuck. What now? That was legitimately my thought. Like, I'm trying to do something here. Who is fucking bothering me? So I put it down and answered my phone, and it was a friend of mine, who ironically is no longer in my life. So the old saying of people come in and come out of your life, well, they were there for a reason. And, well, she was there for a reason, because on that night she called. And I remember answering the phone, and she's her bubbly self. Hi, how are you? I was just thinking about you. And I don't recall what I said, but she noticed something was different. She asked, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I do remember that. And she's like, well, I guess I'll let you go then. Because she sensed like she interrupted me. And she did. I was in the middle of something. I was about to finish everything. Literally. And she's like, I guess I'll just let you go. And all I said was, don't hang up. Wow. I just said, don't hang up. And she was like, okay. Is everything okay? I'm like, yep. And I'm like, just tell me about your day. And she did. And we sat on the phone, I don't know, a couple hours just talking about stupid shit. Just nothing of importance. Nothing to remember. I don't know, maybe she told me about one of her crushes. I don't remember. But because she called me, I'm still here. And after we got off the phone, I don't know what inside my head was like, keep fighting, I guess. I don't know. So I took the cartridge out of the pistol. I took everything I had. Like, I had, like, you know, a survival knife and my other pellet guns and shit. And I took them all and I wrapped them up in a blanket and I brought them to my mother. And I said, I need you to keep these. And she just kind of looked at me and she's like, okay. I'm like, I don't want these right now. And she's like, okay. And I walked out. And that was it. And then, you know, for me, how I got past all this, I did eventually tell that friend of mine what happened that night. She cried and was thankful I was still around. And then I started writing. Just writing. Just what was going on in my head, what was pissing me off that day, cuz I did start having a lot of anger. My hands, my knuckles to this day are still fucked up. I put holes in walls, I tore railings off of walls. I put my hands through closet doors. And of course, again, nothing anybody said was going to make it better. So I had to literally get out of my own head and write it down. So if you are experiencing shit like this, you have to get it out in a healthy way. Because trust me, you don't want arthritis in your hands in your mid-40s. It sucks. Just telling you. And I work with my hands, and it sucks. But I just wrote. Not like a journal or anything. I just had like a steno pad, and I just wrote. What was in my head? What pissed me off that day? Who got me angry, or what did someone say that just got under my skin? And then I would just write it. And then I would write poetry. Shit that didn't even just make sense. I just made words rhyme. But it made my brain escape from that darkness, even if it was for 20 minutes. When I was done, it felt good. It felt really fucking good. Even though it was temporary. But every day, I would push. I would just kept going. I had to keep going. I don't know why, but I had to. And I would get home. I would do all the crap I had to do. Have my fight with my mom because that's what we had to fucking do. And then I would be in my room and I would write. And I would just write. Just stupid shit. Just scribble words. And eventually sentences would form. And that's, for me, that's how I get out of my head. I would still play my video games, but again, I was numb. I would complete the level. Okay, yep, completed the level. Yay, whatever. And then turn it off. And then I would just write. Just write some more. And I still have most of what I wrote. I don't read it. I don't go back and reflect. Hell, this is 30 years in the fucking making talking about this. I haven't told anybody most of this. So enjoy it. But I haven't gone back and read any of that stuff because, again, that's time in my life I wanted to leave it. I've buried it for 30 years. I was depressed from 15 to 20, 21. I moved out when I was 21, but I think I started feeling better before then. But yeah, you're talking 5 years of every day not wanting to wake up anymore. And if you experience this, I know your pain. I'm sorry I had to pause. I know your pain. I know what you're going through. I don't know what got you there. I don't know if maybe a loved one died, somebody that really, like a grandpa or something that really meant something to you, and your life has just been in a downward spiral since. I don't know. I don't know if you're being bullied every day. I don't know if you maybe suddenly have a disability and you don't know how to cope. I don't know. But if you are experiencing shit like this every day, talk to someone. Just talk to someone. Write it down. I go for a walk. Seriously. Get out of your head. Because sitting in your room and just staring at a wall or staring at a ceiling and just listening to music, it copes for the moment, but it doesn't help. Talk to someone. Even if it's a family member or a friend or a counselor at school, maybe somebody you can confide in, because I understand if you are going to open up about what is bothering you, you have to be raw with yourself, and to be that raw with someone else, you have to trust them. I understand that Going to just one doctor or one shrink after another doesn't help, because then they all sound the same and you just clam up. You don't want to let it out because you don't trust them. Oh, great, another fucking doctor. Great. But trust me. Find that person. Don't go online to some depression community, because just it's not going to help. You need one person, or maybe it is group therapy. I can't tell you what's right for you, but you can't keep it in. You need to get it out. Start a podcast. And you don't have to make it go live, but get a microphone and record what you're feeling inside, like a digital diary. And if you don't want to use diary because, you're a guy and that diary's girly, okay, we'll call it a digital manuscript. Yeah, that's it. A digital manuscript. But get it out. You will feel better. And yeah, you're going to cry. And you're not going to like it. And it sucks, because I don't like crying either. Your nose gets all snotty and runny. Your throat gets sore. I know it sucks. But trust me, it does feel good when you let it out. Because holding the pain in, it will kill you. Whether it is by suicide, or you get an ulcer, or you give yourself a heart attack at 22 because you're just so wound up inside. You need to let it out in a healthy way. If you don't have someone in your life that you trust and you want to let it out, I will listen. What you tell me in an email or a message, I will not tell anyone. I will not share it. I will not post it. I won't share your secrets. And I will do what I can to help you. I am not a doctor. I am not a counselor. I'm a welder, okay? But I am someone that has been there before. And I know how terrible it is. And I know how dark and soulless life feels when you are living through that. I don't want you to feel that way anymore. If I can help you, I will. If you want to tell me your story, I will listen. I will read it. And if you want, tell me, even if not necessarily in the first message, but in time, because again, I'm not a professional, but I would want to know whereabouts you are so I can do some research to maybe give you a name of someone that can help you on a clinical level. Because again, maybe you do need medication. I'm not a fan of it, but that's me. I know and I knew that what I was going through, I did not need pills. It was not going to fix me. But maybe it is something that you need. Even if it's a crutch temporarily in your life to help you overcome the mental hurdles that are holding you back, that are tripping you up. So if you want to reach out, I am all ears. I will listen. I will read. My email is on my bio on Facebook. I don't remember it off the top of my head right now. It might be ericnotsorry@gmail.com. I think. I don't know. Double check it. I will actually double check it and put it in the description. But you are worth living. You are worthy of happiness. Because let me tell you, some of the things that have happened in my life, now I've dealt with bad shit too, as an adult. I have had shitty times. I recently had to put my dog down. I had come home from work to find my cat dead. I've had loved ones die. I've had friends move away. I've had stress at work. I've had collectors calling me. I've had bad times. But I never gave up. Yeah, I had my moments, and I've had my down days. But I keep going. and I just write it out because I know it's temporary. But some of the positive things that have happened in my life, I moved out at 21 and lived on my own since. I've gotten married once, still with the same person. And yeah, there's times she drives me out of my fucking mind. But I love her nonetheless. But I did. I got married, and that was great. And I had my friends and family there, and it was awesome. I had a good time, even though I got hurt on my wedding. Yes, that's a totally different time. So, it was stupid. But I had a great time. I've been to the Dominican Republic. Absolutely beautiful country. The people I dealt with were amazing. I would love to go back. I've met some great friends in my life. Had I done what I was going to do, even though losing those pets broke my heart and still does, I would not have experienced having them in my life. I would not experience the friends that I now have in my life and the friends that I still, even from those days, still have them in my life. And they make me happy and they're great company. So if you are going through the darkness, you're not alone, and you don't have to walk it alone, and there is light at the end of that tunnel. But you need to reach out for a helping hand, because you are not weak. This also goes out to veterans that are going through some shit. I don't know what you have seen, but if you feel like you are staring into the abyss, you are not weak either, and you are worthy of happiness. You did not go to war alone. You do not have to fight this one alone either. You are not weak. Reach out for some help. All of you are worthy of happiness. I hope this has helped someone. Hopefully. And if it did, good. I hope you one day can be happy. Thank you for listening. And until the next time, take care.